This is a tutorial on how to make a twine rosary. Starting with around 20 feet of twine, find the two ends and follow the string along to the middle. We will start here with the third Our Father bead in the middle of the rosary. To make an Our Father bead, start with the twine held in your left hand. Then with your right hand, take the twine and wrap around your finger 4 times. Once, notice how we're going back along the finger. Twice, 3 times, and finally a 4th. Now slide it off your finger, holding it together with your left hand. Now find the end of the right string and put it through the loop from the back side, pulling it all the way through, keeping the loop intact as best you can. Now this is the tricky part. You want to keep the left string using your ring and pinky from moving, while using your index and your thumb of your left hand to keep the loop together as you pull the right string with your right hand. And as you pull it slowly, you'll be tightening the loop more and more until you get a knot. Once the knot is fairly snug, get a good grip of both ends of the strings and pull the knot tight. This is our first bead. We'll continue down the right string with the middle decade of 10 Hail Marys. Just a little to the right of the Our Father bead we just made. We'll start the Hail Mary the same way we did with the Our Father bead. With the string in the right hand, wrap around your finger this time 3 times for a Hail Mary bead. Carefully slide the loops off of your finger, keeping it in place with your left hand. Then once again, follow the right string along to the end and feed it back through the back side of the loop, and this time being really careful as you tighten the loop with your thumb and index finger to keep it close to the Our Father bead, about a ½ inch away. This time, when you tighten the bead really well, you can actually adjust it a little bit by pulling on the right side or the left side to get it into place perfectly. Now we have the first of 10 Hail Marys of the middle decade. We'll continue on with the second Hail Mary, same as before. This time, when we tighten the second Hail Mary bead, we'll only tighten it about a ½ inch away from the other Hail Mary bead. The width of the gap should be about half the width of the bead. We are at this point in the rosary now, with the first bead that we made, the Our Father, and these first 2 Hail Marys of the middle decade. We will continue on with 8 more Hail Marys to finish the decade, keeping the spacing as best we can the same between each of the Hail Marys. When I make rosaries, I don't use my finger because it's too slow. I actually use a pen cap that I've cut a groove into. This pen cap acts just like my finger, but it's a lot smaller and easier to wrap string around and fish it through. Once we have these 10 Hail Marys done, we'll finish with 1 more Our Father, and then we have the middle section of the rosary finished. Comparing to a rosary we've already made, this is where we're at with the middle section, the third of 5 decades. We will continue on this same string and do 2 more decades just like we did, but we don't end with an Our Father. Once we have those done, we have the first decade that we completed, the second 2 that we just did, but without the Our Father at the end. We'll continue down the other string doing the same thing, 2 more decades, but without the Our Father at the end. Once those are done, we are finished with the bulk of the rosary, with 5 sets of 10 Hail Marys and 4 Our Fathers in between. To connect these 2 lengths together, we will make a bead using both strings at the same time. This bead is a little trickier, but it's the same concept as a normal bead. Wrap both strings around your finger 2 times, and be careful not to get them twisted. Same as before, we'll fish both ends through the loop. Tightening this bead is similar as before, but this time we have to be careful that both lengths are equal distance from the Hail Holy Queen bead. Once that's done, we'll find the longer length and continue down that one, with an Our Father, 3 Hail Marys, and another Our Father. We can leave the shorter length off to the side for now. Once those 5 beads are finished after the Hail Holy Queen bead, we are finished with all the beads for this rosary. We will continue on to make the cross at the end. The cross starts with a bead that has 5 turns. Notice how on one side of the bead there are 5 strings countable, and on the other side there's only 4. When we make the bottom part of the cross, we'll want to make sure to orientate that bead the same as this one, so that there will be a gap on the same side. After that one is finished and tight, we'll move on to the bottom part of the cross. This bottom part is a bead made with 8 turns. This large of a bead can be pretty tricky to tighten. You want to continuously spool the bead along to the left as you pull with your right hand to tighten it.
Notice how I orientated the bottom part so that the tops are touching and on the other side there's a gap. Now we will need the shorter length that we had left for the transept of our cross. With a lighter, cut off the extra string we had left before, and immediately with a wet finger, smooth the molten plastic against the Hail Holy Queen bead. Be careful to only sever the string with no beads on it. We will use this string to finish the transept. Start a simple knot in the middle of this string and align it to the center of our cross. Keep the bulky side of the knot in the gap that we had left before. Get a good grip of both ends and seat the knot in between the two beads. Now we will finish our cross by making a 5-loop bead on either side. As these two beads are made, be careful to keep it close to the cross as it's tightened. Once all parts of the cross are made, go through and tighten each of the sides to the center. Once the cross is made and tightened, we can use a lighter to cut off the extra length, once again using our wet finger to tap down the end smooth. This beautiful sacramental has only to be blessed and treated with great reverence.